did you survive the gommage?
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another SAC Reviews, where today we are looking at Clair Obscur Expedition 33 for the PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, with all footage here captured on PS5 in performance mode. From first-time developers at Sandfall Interactive, Expedition 33 is a turn-based dark fantasy RPG, and let me just go ahead and tell you, this is going to be simultaneously the easiest but most difficult review I've ever made. By now you've seen the hype, you've seen the 10s and 9s out of 10 across the board with universal praise. Hell, it's sold out of physical copies in some countries and just broke the world record for highest rated user score of any video game in history. And all that hype, it's real. But at the same time, this game there's a lot I want to talk about, but I do not want to talk about anything simultaneously because I want you to play this and I want you to experience it all for yourself so you can see the bind I'm in here. So this will obviously be as spoiler-free as possible, and all footage will be limited to the first couple hours of the game and nothing more. But before we even get started, developers at Sandfall, seriously, congratulations. You well and truly deserve every ounce of success that you're getting right now. The fact a game that is this good has come out of a team that's the size of this, it's just unbelievable. Anyway, the game. Expedition 33 is a dark fantasy world with a very French aesthetic, where there's this mysterious being known as the Paintress, and every year she paints a number in the sky which is always getting smaller, and as the number keeps going down, everyone that is older than the age she's painted simply just disappears and stops existing. This event is called the Gommage, and after every Gommage, an expedition of volunteers sail out to the mainland in an attempt to kill the Paintress before she can paint a new number, with Expedition 33 being the most recent one, which you are a volunteer of. So that's the setup, and I'm not going any more into it. Some of the twists and turns this story takes are incredible, and I truly mean that there were moments where I honestly could not believe what was happening. Every time you think, okay, I've got an idea where this is going, the game surprises you. I can't remember the last time I was caught this off guard by a game's story and some of the decisions that were made. And some of the decisions that were made, the sheer balls on the writers for some of these. When it wants to be funny, it's funny. When it wants to be charming, it's charming. When it wants to throw an event at you that you never saw coming, it's going to throw that event at you, and if you're like me, you'll have no shame in saying there were several moments throughout this where you teared up a bit. Even from the opening prologue of the story, it just grips you. The last time I was this emotionally invested when a game started, it was probably the first time I ever played The Last of Us. Yeah. It's that good. Gameplay-wise, this is a bit more than your standard turn-based combat system. Well, you can definitely see its inspiration from games like Final Fantasy VIII, Legend of Dragoon, of the Persona series. What they've made here is definitely their own. So while you do have your basic turn-based mechanics, there are also these quick-time events that happen during your actions, which, if executed right, will make whatever move you're trying to do more powerful, whether it's a buff, a heal, or an attack. And when it's the enemy's turn, you're still involved, as there's also a dodging and a parry mechanic, which the developers have gone on record and said, if you are good enough at the dodging and parrying in this game, if you get good, it is 100% possible to finish the whole game without ever getting hit. But I gotta say, man, the timing on these are brutal, but in a good way. I played on Expeditioner mode, and while once I got the idea of the timings for the dodging, I found it pretty forgiving, but that parry timer, at points it almost made me feel like I was playing Sekiro. It is that tight. But you want to try and get the parry timing down, as if you get a perfect parry on an attack or a string of combos, you get a counter attack which can deal some absolute game-changing damage at times. There's also a ranged mechanic where instead of using your AP for special abilities, you can instead do a ranged attack which doesn't do too much damage, but it can be used to specifically target weak points of the enemy, with some enemies actually having mechanics entirely built around the ranged attack. And later on there is potential for them to become pretty powerful with the right build. You also have these things called picos, which are essentially the builds for your characters. Everyone can equip up to 3 at a time, and you want to try and get a good synergy going with them. There's ones that restore your AP if you hit a marked target, ones that buff your character if your health drops to 50%, or buffs the whole team if you die. There's a lot of build potential and variety that's on offer here, and by the end of it you can make some pretty busted builds, but all throughout the game it's really fun experimenting with them. And with a traversal system across the open world map leading to all the different locales, for me this was very reminiscent of the OG Final Fantasy VII's traversal, and I loved it. The only mechanic that doesn't really work is the platforming. The jumping in this game, it really wasn't built for some of the platforming that's asked of you here, but pretty much all of it is exclusively for side quest stuff. There's really not any need to get worried about the platforming if you're just focusing on the main story, but if you're a completionist or you just want to see all that this world has to offer, the platforming isn't the best. As for the visuals, this game was once again made with Unreal Engine 5, and as always, it shows. But not only is the visual fidelity just breathtaking, but the actual art design is amazing. Everything from the characters, the environments, some of the enemies, they all look so unique and incredible. The creature designs all do exactly what they need to do. The main characters, both good and bad, there's no uncanny valley to them. The landscapes, the water, there is nothing in this game that looks bad. I played on performance mode, and not only did I never lag or experience any glitches, but I didn't have a single crash in my entire time playing this, which is insane that this is even a talking point in 2025, but a game this good, this big, from a first-time studio this small, with no noticeable bugs or crashes on release? How do studios like Ubisoft keep getting away with releasing such broke and crashy slop every year when studios like Sandfall Interactive release something this good as their first ever game? But, I mean, well, considering Sandfall is mostly made up of ex-Ubisoft devs, I think it's fair to say we know where all the talent in that studio has gone over the last few years. Sorry, cheap shot, I know, but I promised myself I'd get that in this review. And when it comes to sound design, I need to say something before I get into the SFX of this game. If Expedition 33 does not win the award for Best Score at the Game Awards this year, then I don't care who wins, it was rigged. This score is the best score to a video game I have heard in years. Composer Lorien Testard has well and truly made a name for himself in the industry of this one. He knows exactly what the scene needs, exactly what to do and when to do it. He can create an almost unnoticeable but uneasy feel right after a calm and peaceful moment that can just flawlessly blend right into something dramatic just as it needs to, with all the right swells, all the right atmosphere. It's just, there's a level of investment to this score, and as a lover of music myself, I found myself getting goosebumps several times throughout this campaign from the score alone. And not only is the score good, but the songs are great as well, with 33 records to collect throughout the world and play back at your camp. While it might be an obvious comparison, it's good company to be in. The records in Expedition 33 very much reminded me of the records in Lies of P, which for me is the highest praise I can give this game, as the soundtrack in Lies of P was flawless and made the world of crap feel so alive and real. And then even in the base gameplay, whether you're casting a spell, attacking with your melee melee weapon, listening for the right cues for the dodges. All of the work on the sound here was done with love and care, and it shows. And while we're still on the sounds of the game, let's talk about the voice acting. This is a star-studded cast with some heavy hitters like Charlie Cox, people that are no strangers to the video game genre like Ben Starr, and then absolute titans of the industry like the legend that is Andy Serkis. You've got Jennifer English, you've got Kirsty Ryder, just everyone. There is not a standout performance in this game because everyone is good. Every single one of them understood the assignment and brought their A game to this. One of the hardest things to do as an actor is to give a good voiceover performance. When you're acting on stage or in front of the camera, you've got your whole body you can use, you've got the sets, you've got props, tools that you can use to sell the emotion. But in voice acting, you have your voice. Everything else, that's down to someone else. That's down to the guys making the game, what the players are going to see. And when players are constantly running into common issues like poor lip syncing, if your voice isn't selling the emotion, then the player's not going to feel it. But here, every single one of these guys sold it for me. Not a single bad casting all around. I can only think of one thing that's missing from this game, and it's a front-runner position for Game of the Year. I don't believe there is such thing as a perfect video game. Name me any video game in the world you think is perfect, I'll tell you a flaw with it. Hell, my favourite games of all time have flaws. Final Fantasy VII, Death Stranding, Bloodborne, Red Dead Redemption 2. Some of my favourite games ever made that I would consider perfect still aren't perfect. They've all got issues, they've all got flaws, but to me, they're about as close as you can get. And I think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is sitting amongst them now. All in all, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 doesn't just live up to the hype, it exceeds the hype. Like I said, there is no such thing as the perfect game, but games like this are about as close as you can get. This has become one of my favourite games. I think, in all honesty, this is probably now in my top 10 games of all time, and it's barely been out a week. It is that good. I almost feel sorry for Sandfall Interactive because just where do you go from here? Do you have any idea the pressure that is now on you for whatever your next game is? But whatever it is, you can bet the world's going to be watching. Anyway, I think you all know right where this game is going to sit on the scoreboard, and you're wrong. This, to me, is more than a 5 out of 5. This is something special, and it's forced me to create something entirely new. And so I am giving Clair Obscur Expedition 33 a 5 out of 5 with Screwloosegames' first ever medal of Masterpiece. So, have you played Clair Obscur Expedition 33 yet? If you haven't, why? Just go, click off the video, I won't be mad. Just go, buy it, play it. Do it before anything can get spoiled for you. Enjoy this. But if you have played it, let us know your thoughts on the game down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.